Thank you for joining me this afternoon. The time is currently 4:28 Central, 5:28 p.m. Eastern, and you have a live look at an ongoing severe weather outbreak in portions of the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles, and you have a look at another severe weather outbreak as well going on in the Carolinas. These are both very potent severe weather events that are currently bringing damaging winds, large hail, and isolated tornadoes to certain portions of the United States. Again, the more concerning one is going to be this one out here in parts of the southern plains, all right? Areas like Oklahoma, Kansas, Texas. You need to be on high alert today. We do have an enhanced risk of severe weather, that being a 3 out of 5 risk for severe thunderstorms. So that's our main area today. Our other severe weather mode, again, I would honestly say that this one even looks more potent, but this one is kept at a 2 out of 5 risk of severe weather, that of which being a slight risk. But again, a 2 out of 5 risk is still nothing to play around with. If you're on either the yellow or orange areas today, make sure that you have multiple ways to receive alerts, or even just in the dark green areas today, alright? We got a lot of those, right? We got one down here in Florida, one in the Carolinas, one in the plains, one all the way up in Minnesota. I mean, guys, we're talking about a widespread severe weather outbreak today. We'll go ahead and bring up actually a live look from Norman, Oklahoma, and you have a live look at a strong thunderstorm currently moving through the Norman area there. If we take a look at it on radar here, we can see that it has a relatively impressive look, but it is just a shower. This was originally more impressive. I know it's kind of underwhelming now that I said this is some big time storm, but earlier whenever it was closer to the Mingo area, you could see it was much larger, but now it is kind of down to just a little shower here near Mustang, but we will continue to watch that there as that moves on off to the north and the east there. We'll go ahead and also bring ourselves up the Burlington cam. Actually, no, we're going to bring up one of the Charlotte cams here, because the Charlotte area actually has an amazing look at these severe storms. There's a live look at a severe thunderstorm near Charlotte, North Carolina, capable of producing 1-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. The other Charlotte one is gone for some reason. That's kind of weird. We'll go ahead and also bring up our Burlington, Kansas one then. Why not? So there we go, guys. There's our setup for today. We're going to have these live cams up. The tornado threat for today is low, but it is definitely there, all right? We'd have 16 million people today under a 2% risk for a tornado within 25 miles of any given point. We have that risk down there in central Florida for tornadoes, the risk in the Carolinas for tornadoes, the risk in the central and southern plains for tornadoes, and the risk in Minnesota for tornadoes, all right? Now, all of these, again, these are left at 2% tornado risks. They're nothing crazy, but an isolated spin-up could occur in any of those, all right? Something I do want to quickly mention before we get started here is 10 p.m., all right? That's the new time. I know it's kind of late, but I've got a ton of stuff going on tonight. Shoot, I wrote that 10 really badly there. We'll go ahead and restart that. 10 p.m. tonight, all right, is the hurricane coverage trailer stream for this channel, 10 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Come tune in. I'm going to be talking about what I think is going to happen this hurricane season, my plan on how to cover it live, and more. So make sure to join us there. But again, right now we're going to continue to watch these severe storms. Sorry, I got to give my voice a rest here. I've been talking a lot today. You go ahead and bring up chat, so if anybody has any questions about their location, feel free to leave those down below. But yeah, like I said, guys, this is a very busy day for me, so at any minute, guys, I really could have to go. But I'm going to try to be live here for as long as possible, but I've got so much going on today. Once again, I am graduating today, so very busy day, but I will try to stay live and cover this severe weather as long as possible, because it is pretty potent out there today. This storm closer to Wilmington is currently producing some damaging winds and large hail, and it wouldn't surprise me if it were to start rotating. We are talking about damaging wind gusts in this area up to 60 miles per hour there. And again, there's quite a bit of inflow on this storm here in the reflectivity. The velocities have a decently impressive look. It looks even more impressive on reflectivity back here when it was in between Cluis Corner and Prosper. But it's still rotating pretty decently. We did have a tornado yesterday in North Carolina, so it'd be kind of a shame if they got another one. I mean, obviously every tornado is bad, but it gets worse whenever the same areas keep getting hit over and over again, obviously. So, anyway, we do have a relatively important mesoscale discussion that I should probably talk about here. This is a relatively new mesoscale, and It's looking like the big concern for the day, all right, is going to lie in parts of western Oklahoma and south central Kansas. Storms capable of large hail and damaging winds are going to be possible through the afternoon and evening time hours. I always forget to turn my own volume off there. There's an 80% chance of either a severe thunderstorm or, less likely, a tornado watch being issued. I think it'll be a severe thunderstorm watch, but it could be a pretty high-end one at that, okay? So areas like Oklahoma City, Chickasha, Hobart, Elk City, Altus, Woodward, Alva, Enid, Anthony, Wichita, Hutchinson, McPherson, Great Bend, and Pratt can be expecting a severe thunderstorm watch within the next 10 minutes, actually, because this mesoscale expires in about 11 minutes. Expires at 4:45 p.m. Central, and it's currently 4:34 p.m. Central. So really, any minute now, I'm expecting that new severe thunderstorm watch to come in. Again, technically, it could be a tornado watch, but I think that's very unlikely. We'd have a new severe thunderstorm warning now. That's going to be for Duplin County, North Carolina. That's for the storm that is currently moving through the Rose Hill area here. This is going to be in effect for over an hour, guys. We got this little discrete supercell out there right now near Clinton that has been producing damaging winds and large hail, and that's going to continue towards Rose Hill, Magnolia. 70-mile-per-hour winds and golf ball-sized hail possible with this storm. This is one where you got to take it seriously, all right? Imagine this was a tornado coming. We're talking about tornado-force winds. Get to your safe spot. If you're in a mobile home, make sure to evacuate. Mobile homes are not a safe place to be in with 70-mile-per-hour winds or golf ball-sized hail, so you mix the two together, and you're talking about a really rough situation for mobile homes here, you guys. And again, this is heading right for Magnolia and Rose Hill. So again, please do be getting to your tornado safe spot there. Again, there's no actual tornado associated with this storm, but this is a very dangerous severe thunderstorm here, you guys, so you gotta look out for it. Again, just rolled through the Clinton area. We're probably going to see some bad reports, especially to the southwest side of Clinton, unfortunately. That's probably the most concerning storm we have right now, so we'll continue to focus on that one. Whew. I'm out of breath. Sorry if I'm breathing heavy, I'm just catching my breath. Why not do a nice old double box here? Talk about the reflectivity and the velocities at the same time. Why not? There we go. This is like the perfect view right here. We'll kind of keep this up here for a minute. Again, if anybody has any questions about their location, feel free to leave those down below in checks. This is a very widespread day of severe weather outbreak even once again. Our storm south of Clinton, again, the main one that we're concerned about right now is actually rotating, so this may even get a tornado warning. So again, you guys should be getting to your tornado safe spots right now, or your storm shelters or whatever, in Rose Hill, Magnolia, Warsaw, Green Evers, and Wallace in North Carolina here. This is in southeast North Carolina. Again, this is a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. Take cover now. Storm's definitely going to pack a punch to, once again, the Magnolia and Rose Hill area. Areas along Interstate 40 in between Warsaw and Wallace. So you got to look out for this one, guys. We are also going to be live here again tomorrow for severe weather. Tomorrow's actually looking like a pretty potent day as well. We do have a slight risk of severe weather in place, but it's going to be another one of those days where, you know, we're watching 4 or 5 spots at once, right? We're talking about a couple spots in the Midwest, a couple spots along the Mississippi River, an area even down in South Florida. And I am actually under a marginal risk of severe weather tomorrow here at the Weather House, as I like to call it. So, yeah. The main threat for tomorrow is going to be, once again, damaging winds and large hail, but an isolated tornado or two cannot be ruled out. Very similar setup to today, but the tornado threat's actually a little more increased tomorrow, but I will say the threats for damaging winds is a little bit lower tomorrow, according to the Storm Prediction Center. They're professionals over there, you know. They help out a lot of the stuff that we do on this channel. I mean, not personally, but I mean, without their products, this channel would not be nearly as good as it is. By the way, our storm does now have the tornado possible tag. I didn't mention it was rotating a little bit, and there's your tornado possible tag. So again, this is in southeast here. It continues to rotate. It was kind of just now that I realized that we were looking at the wrong radar side. I was looking at the one for ahead of this thing. We're switching radar zones soon, but right now we should be using the radar near Cary and Raleigh. We're even getting a little bit of inflow on this storm. There's a little bit of a hook echo. Again, I think this will go tornado warning at some point, you guys. So again, you should be treating this like a tornado anyway, because we are talking about the potential for 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds and golf ball-sized hail in this area. So if you're there, make sure that you are getting into your tornado-safe spot. Because once again, this could also quite possibly produce a tornado. It's got some pretty potent rotation, a very interesting hook echo there, and area of inflow. We've actually not had any tornado warnings yet today, other than very early in the morning time hours down in Florida. But for this specific event, we have not had any tornado warnings yet at all. But the tornado threat should start to increase as we go into the late afternoon, early evening time hours. Again, unfortunately, I will not be able to be live for too long during that period. Probably not even going to be able to be live here for too much longer, because, again, I got stuff to do, but we're going to be here as long as possible with this. Again, considerable severe thunderstorm warning for Rose Hill, North Carolina. Again, we're talking about the threats for golf ball-sized hail and 70-mile-per-hour damaging wind gusts. Low-end tornado force winds. Low-end hurricane force winds actually possible with this storm, I would say. Again, this is in Duplin County, North Carolina, southeast North Carolina. Look out for this. And this is going to be crossing over Interstate 40 relatively soon. This is moving off to the south and the east here towards Rose Hill. We could actually talk about the specific timings. The area is, when are you going to get impacted by this, right? So let's kind of check this out. It's moving southeast at 20 miles per hour. Kind of in this specific direction, actually. Okay, so 25 miles per hour. So Taylor's Bridge, you're going to be under this in about 7 minutes. Delaware, you've got about 17 minutes. Shanghai, 24 minutes. Bryce's Crossroads, 30 minutes. Duff Creek, 38 minutes. Teachee, 45 minutes. Wallace, 49 minutes. Tin City in 51 minutes. Ponderley in 51 minutes. Penderley in 51 minutes. And then Willard in 55 minutes. So it's a relatively rural part of North Carolina. We kind of talked about yesterday how this is like the emptiest part of North Carolina. There's not much down here, which is good for a severe weather event like this. You don't want to have a very populated area during a time like this, obviously. Or where that's happening to be in a populated area, I should say. And guys, that's just where the specific area of rotation is going to head. Most of the storm is actually going to stay to the north of those areas. Again, the main spots we're watching are areas like Warsaw, Rose Hill, and Canansville for the main threats for damaging winds and large hail. I think Canansville is probably actually going to miss this. And I do think Warsaw will miss the worst of it for sure. It's probably just going to be some rain out there in Warsaw, maybe an isolated rumble of thunder or two. But the actual severe threat with this storm, again, is going to lie further to the south. Areas like Delaware, Rose Hill, you got to look out for this one. It's a nasty one for sure. We have 20 special weather statements right now for strong thunderstorms. And 12 severe thunderstorm warnings. They did just condense this severe thunderstorm warning. 1-inch size hail was reported with this storm 5 miles north of Garland now. So, obviously the golf ball sized hail threat is indicated by the radar, but we now have confirmation of at least quarter-sized hail here. And we have another report of quarter-sized hail also about 18 minutes ago, though. Actually, no, that is the one that they're talking about. It says the hail lasted for 5 minutes, so we're talking about a very intense hailstorm threat here for these areas along Interstate 40, areas like Rose Hill, Magnolia. think the worst of it, though, is probably going to stay to the south of the Magnolia area. I think Rose Hill, Delway, you guys are kind of going to be in the direct path of this thing here. Mainly the spots in between there, especially. Areas like Bryce's Crossroads, Concord, Duff Creek, Safe, Waycross, potentially. Again, this is all in southeastern North Carolina, the main spot that we're watching right now, you guys. But we do have another severe weather event ongoing in Texas. But right now, this one's actually looking a little bit more potent to me. So we're going to continue to watch this one here. Let me know how my audio levels are. Are they too loud? Or are they just right? Here, I guess I could check. Let me know how my audio levels are. Are they too loud? Or are they just right? Are they just right? Here, I guess I could check. Okay, they seem fine. I'm sorry about that annoying background noise. That's mainly just my computer. Sounds good to you? Alright. Thanks for letting me know. I really wasn't too sure because I'm so used to hearing my streams at this point. I can never tell if there's a difference in the quality or not. So that's one of the things that I kind of rely on you guys for, and I do appreciate you guys helping me out with that. Giving your feedback. Again, even if it's negative, I appreciate it because that lets me know what I need to improve on. Again, for anybody watching that's wondering about the upcoming hurricane season, at 10 I keep drawing a 6 instead of a 0. At 10 p.m. Central Daylight Time, I have my hurricane coverage trailer stream coming up. We're going to talk about what I think is going to happen this hurricane season, how I'm going to cover it live or just video-wise, really, and any other questions that anybody in chat has. And we'll probably continue to cover this severe weather event after we're done talking about that, too, because it might be a kind of a short stream if we don't. And I'm sure there will still be some potent severe weather at that point. You heard something about a land spout today. What is a land spout? So if you've heard of a water spout, that's what a land spout is, but on land. But to be a little bit more specific, it's usually a land spout is kind of a weaker version of a tornado. All right, land spouts can usually happen whenever there's some less intense rotation, which makes them easier to touch down than tornadoes, but it also makes them a lot on the weaker side. Usually we don't see a land spout get out of the EF0, EF1 range. But I will say, land spouts are pretty dangerous because they're almost impossible to detect on radar because for the most part, they don't pick up too much debris because of how weak they are. They don't pick it up that high into the atmosphere to where we can see it on the correlation coefficient. Again, the velocities don't need to be super tight, so even something like this could be strong enough to produce a land spout. We just, we don't know that if it is or not, but it could be. So land spouts are very tricky to see on radar, which is why we appreciate reports of those being sent in. But yeah, I mean, a land spout's definitely a weaker tornado, I would say, is the best way to describe it to somebody that is wondering that, isn't a super big, meteorologist, weather nerd person. Just put it in layman's terms, basically. We haven't looked at our storms in Texas and Oklahoma for a while. They're severe, but they're nothing too crazy. Some storms may pack a punch with damaging winds and large hail, but right now the tornado threat's very low with those. Again, the greatest tornado threat lies with our storm close to the Interstate 40 area, crossing over Highway 421 soon near Taylor's Bridge, North Carolina here. So look out for that. Crossing the highway right now to the south of Taylor's Bridge is where our rotation lies. where the reds and the greens kind of get kind of tight with each other there. But you can definitely tell, yeah, no problem. But you can definitely tell that the rotation's not nearly as intense as it was earlier. Earlier, this is where I was kind of thinking a tornado warning might even get issued, but now you can see it's much less intense. It's barely rotating at all at this point. I don't think they'll continue the tornado possible tag with this storm, but as I was saying earlier, you should be still taking shelter from this one, because this one's still going to pack a punch with some damaging winds and large hail. 70-mile-per-hour winds and golf ball-sized hail are both possibilities with this considerable severe thunderstorm here. So look out for that. Again, please be taking that seriously. 70-mile-per-hour winds are low-end tornado force, low-end hurricane force, however you want to say it, kind of winds. So what would you do if there was a tornado? Do that now. And the golf ball-sized hail is obviously a pretty big threat too, but that's mainly just a threat to glass. So make sure that you're getting indoors and away from windows, and again, preferably on the lowest floor possible to protect yourselves from those kinds of winds. But yeah. Alright, I will say the rotation has become a little bit more impressive here on this most recent scan. Again, near the Taylor's Bridge area, it's starting to rotate pretty decently there again, and it would not surprise me if that were to continue to intensify a little bit. We've got a weird feature here on radar where it almost looks like we've got a double hook echo. That's actually because this is kind of a new area of rotation kind of taking over. You can kind of see where we had our old area of rotation. That hook will likely go away soon, and we'll be left with this one, which is our actual area of rotation at this point. So it's interesting. For sure, whenever you kind of see something like this live on radar, or in real life, obviously, that'd be even cooler, but anyway. Again, there's your velocity couplet, right near the Taylor's Bridge area right now. Just crossed over Highway 421. Now heading for the Bryce's Crossroads area, Duff Creek, all these areas south of Rose Hill, east of Delway. And this is in southeastern North Carolina that we're looking at this here. So, look out for that. I know, compared to yesterday, this is kind of a one-man show type thing. Yesterday we had Mr. Storm, we had Azul in chat, we had Texas Chili Ball Edits in chat. Today it's kind of just me chilling here, but I kind of like these kinds of streams every once in a while. Again, I just didn't have a lot prepared because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to go live when I needed to, or what time I was going to need to, because the severe weather events has taken a while to get started here, but it has definitely gotten going now. I never remembered to check, did we get that new severe thunderstorm watch or not? Surprisingly, we did not. So either that means the event's going to kind of sweep in here a little later than we were expecting, which is what I think is going to happen, or it's just not going to happen entirely. But again, I think it's much more likely that it's just going to start later than expected. That does not mean it's going to be any less potent. By the way, our little shower here in the Oklahoma City area has continued to produce gusty winds and small hail here near Union City. We are talking about gusts around 40 to 45 miles per hour there. New severe thunderstorm warning has been issued. We haven't been getting too many. The count's kind of been dropping here. We started with 15 at the beginning of this train about 25 minutes ago, and now we're at 10. That's for Collingsworth and Donley counties, Texas. That's an extension here for the Wellington area from this storm here. Still producing half-dollar-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds near Headley at the minute. So if you're in this new warning, make sure that you are getting indoors and away from windows immediately. So yeah, let's go back to our storm out here in North Carolina. Again, this is the considerable one. This is the relatively dangerous one. Again, guys, just don't kind of play around with something like this. Just, as a precautionary measure, make sure you're getting to your safe place. At the minute, it's not looking likely that this drops a tornado, but this kind of environment, it could intensify to the point where it has the potential to drop a tornado. So we got to watch out for this. Again, please be taking this seriously and getting to shelter, because even without a tornado, we're talking about golf ball-sized hail and 70-mile-per-hour winds, which is a very intense storm. Our Charlotte cam is just getting drenched right now by that severe thunderstorm in the Charlotte area. Or sorry, it's a special weather statement orange storm now. The severe one's to the south of it, but special weather statement you can see here on radar. That's where the cam is, where that little blue crown is, and that's what it looks like. I mean, it's just torrential out there. I know it looks kind of bright, but it looks bright all the time on that cam. Also getting some gusty winds. You can definitely see the trees shaking around quite a bit there. This storm is warned for 40-mile-per-hour winds and pea-sized hail. Let's see, this is measured 11-mile-an-hour gusts, so nothing too crazy yet. But anyway, we'll actually pull this up here. Kind of keep that up. I know it's a pretty messy look right now. We'll get rid of the Burlington cam to make some room here without making things look a little too messy, obviously. So there we go. Now we got your Charlotte Football Club Cycle Import stats up there. Talking about the winds for the most part. So again, right now, east of Taylor's Bridge is where we have our rotating, dang it, I forgot. I've definitely seen this before. We definitely talked about this quite a few streams ago, but I remember there's 2 Taylor's Bridges in this area. So this area's gotten hit recently too, apparently. This exact same area, because I remember I was like, wait, there are 2 Taylor's Bridge. I don't know if I tried this out last time, but what happens if you look up the name on Radar Omega? Which one does it bring you to? There's both. One in Clinton, which is this one on top. Does the other one bring you to the one on the bottom? Magnolia. Well, it does. Would you look at that? That's so weird. 2 Taylor's Bridge named areas. They're not even towns. They're just kind of named that, I think. Yeah, that's not really a town, just a few houses. That's not either. It's the Taylor's Bridge Highway that it's on, but it's just weird that they're both called that. Wow, the Charlotte cam's getting drenched, you guys. It's crazy out there. It's a torrential downpour if I've ever seen one. Again, Delway is technically not in that new severe thunderstorm warning, or relatively new severe thunderstorm warning. But, I mean, this storm could kind of clip the far northeast portion of Delway. This could go over the Rogers Mill Road area, the East Magnolia Libson Road area over 903 there, Highway 903, or not highway, but you know what I mean. So look out for that. Again, Delway's not included in that, but it could go just the north of Delway. Areas like Waycross. Again, Waycross has technically managed to dodge both these severe thunderstorm warnings, but the storm's going right through there right now. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning now. I think I just saw some lightning on our Charlotte cam, by the way, but we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning out here in North Carolina. It's for the Emerald Isle area. All right, we've got also areas like the Indian Beach included in this. This goes close out to Newport and Havelock. This is an extension for a storm that's just now going through the Swansboro area. It's for $half size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds, move indoors and away from windows. And now we have another extension here. This is for the Jacksonville area. And oh my goodness, guys. All right, it's getting intense. We've got another considerable severe thunderstorm warning for golf ball-sized hail and 70-mile-per-hour winds. So Jacksonville, all right, this is coming in. Whenever the worst of this gets to you, you need to be getting to your safe spot. Actually, it's going to go closer to the north of Jacksonville areas, in between Richlands and Jacksonville along Highway 258. If you're traveling on there, make sure to get off. Now we've got 2 storms to watch out for. They're both producing golf ball-sized hail and 70-mile-per-hour winds, potentially. So now we got to watch both of these. We're actually probably going to focus on the Jacksonville one more, because this is a more populated area. Yeah, make sure y'all like and share. Do appreciate it. But yeah, now we got 2 to watch for golf ball-sized hail and 70-mile-per-hour winds, both in a very similar area, but 2 different storms. Kind of did just talk about some of the damage that we've seen from the storms today thus far. We've had reports of golf ball sized hail. We did have a 78 mile per hour gust move through Texas. We have trees down in South Carolina. Got utility lines down in North Carolina. Power lines down, utility equipment damage resulting in power outages in Caldwell County, North Carolina, near the Jaws Mountain area, or however you pronounce that. If you're in North Carolina, you'll know how to pronounce it. Alright, the winds are kind of getting weaker. I mean, just like that, guys, it's letting up now. The storms just move by so fast whenever they're this intense. A lot of people think whenever they're that intense, it means that they'll last longer, but usually that's actually not the case. I will say the winds on our Norman cam are now starting to intensify here. See the trees shaking around pretty good. We'll keep that up. Talking about 12 mile per hour gusts for the max right now, though, so nothing too crazy yet. Just a little bit higher than the other one. Let's kind of take a look at some of the power outages that we have right now, because we were talking about power outages from some of these storms, especially in the Carolinas. So currently, North Carolina, we got about 3,000 customers without power. South Carolina's got about 1,000 customers without power. Texas has got about 3,000 customers without power. Oklahoma's got about 300 customers without power. And Florida has about 8,000 customers without power. You got to remember, Florida's a much bigger state, so that's why it has so many more power outages than a lot of these. You shared on all your platforms. You're doing a swell job. Thank you. I appreciate that. Some of the more, getting even more localized, some of the specific counties that we have without power. We're talking about, let's see here. I'm not going to be able to get a number from that, am I? Okay, never mind. Forget about that. Oh, wait. Yeah, I can. I just have to click on it from here. We have Granville County, North Carolina, currently sitting with about 800 customers without power in that one county alone. That's crazy. And 800 individual houses or buildings. We've got Mercer County, Virginia, with about 1,300 customers without power. We have got Grant County, Kentucky, with about 300 customers without power. Lynn County, Iowa, with about 3,000 customers without power. We've got Jefferson County, Nebraska, with about 200 customers without power. That's almost 10% of the county. It's a pretty big deal there. We've got Clearwater County, Idaho, currently sitting with about 1,000 customers without power. That's almost 20% of the county. Idaho actually got hit pretty hard by the severe storms yesterday, so that makes sense. Obviously, 1,000 customers isn't a ton, but it's a good percentage of the county. So, that's why it's highlighted in that orange shade there. Again, that's about 17.2% of the county without power there in Clearwater County, Idaho. Again, the Norman Cam's getting some gusty winds right now, but it's not anything too crazy. Again, it's only sitting at about 10 to 15 miles per hour right now. Nothing insane. Most of the damaging winds, or gusty winds, I guess I should say, are going to remain to the west of that area at the moment. I do think that we're going to end off the stream here. I do want to thank you all for tuning in. Unfortunately, like I said, you guys, there's only a certain, very limited time frame where I'm able to be live today. I know it's kind of a bummer to see a 30-minute stream. But, yeah, if I could stay live, I would, guys. But again, so much to do today. Very busy day for me. But again, don't forget, I like going out here in the ocean so you can see me draw more clearly. 10 p.m. Central Daylight Time tonight. We are going to be doing our hurricane coverage trailer stream. We're going to be talking about how I'm going to cover the hurricane season, the upcoming hurricane season. We're going to be talking about what I think is going to happen this hurricane season. And then on top of that, we're going to be doing severe weather coverage for this outbreak. I think at that point, the more concerning area we'll be watching is out here in the plains, by the way. But yeah. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next one.